Northeast.
I have a feeling that spring is sending its apologies to the people, the good people of America. It's going to be a little bit late in many places.
Yeah, and I think that apology could mean perhaps somebody's going to pay. And what are the financial consequences of having a late spring?
Well, Paul Walsh, our business weather analyst, has answers. Paul, good morning to you. All right, we demand answers. But first of all, what does a holdover winter mean for retailers?
For retailers and business in general, it's really, really bad news because we don't generally start to buy spring items until it feels like spring. And so when it's cold and we're talking about snow and ice a week before Easter, that has a dramatic impact on people actually going and spending money. Of course, retailers specifically want to sell their products as early as possible because they make more money. The profit margins are higher. So far, really bad news for them.
Well, spring, definitely the temperature's late to the party here. So how are the stores going to respond to this?
Well, Paul, more and more businesses are actually using weather forecasts and seasonal forecasts to help sort of adjust, and they use weather data and analytics to time advertising and even adjust staffing levels. But at the end of the day, the only real tool that they have to move the inventory that isn't moving now because it's too cold is pricing. And of course, ultimately that will be a benefit for us when it finally does feel like spring.
So what kind of levels does it really mean for my wallet? It's all about me, Paul. How big of a cut can maybe we see in some of these places?
You know, Maria, I think we're going to see a pretty significant cut in prices as we move into April. And part of the reason is because it's such an early April, and businesses generally staff up their inventory to have lots of stuff in place to sell before Easter. Well, it's going to be really cold for a large part of the country. So when we get out of Easter and get into April, they're going to have a lot of inventory left over. And as I noted before, one of the only tools that they have to move that inventory, because they have to get it out of the way for summer, is price. And so I would expect that we're going to see some pretty significant price drops as we move into the middle of April, even in the end of April. And of course, spring is coming. It doesn't feel like it now, but it is coming eventually. And when it does, there's going to be lots of good stuff to buy, and a lot of it is going to be on sale.
Well, let's talk about those sales, Paul, real quick. So what items could we see some of the biggest deals on?
I would think things like barbecues, lawn tractors, all of those kind of items that are really sort of in the front of the home centers right now that aren't really selling. So those sort of big ticket items that the businesses are really trying to sell before Easter are going to be left over, and I think we're going to see some great deals when that finally happens. And again, it is going to get warm eventually, and when it does, there's going to be some deals to be had.
Someday soon. Paul Walsh, as always, great to talk to you from Bethany Beach, Delaware this morning.
So all those people who don't need a riding mower, buy one anyway.